Women always think cheating comes down to one thing: another woman. Better looks, more attention, more pleasure, more excitement. But the truth is far colder and far more human. Men don't usually cheat because they found someone prettier. They cheat because something inside them is unaddressed. Something they're running from, or something they're trying to prove. And if you don't understand this, you will keep personalizing their betrayal. You will keep blaming your body, your personality, your worth. When the reality is, his cheating says more about him than it ever says about you. Today, I'm going to walk you through the secret psychological reason men cheat, the patterns they follow, and the blind spots women don't see until it's too late. And I'm going to speak to you with honesty, tough love, and clarity, so that you never again confuse a man's wound for your weakness. Take a breath, because this one will hit deep. Let's be brutally honest from the beginning. Most women secretly believe that if they're loving enough, giving enough, patient enough, sensual enough, he won't cheat. But here's the hard truth. A man's loyalty is not a reward for your effort. His integrity is not dependent on how beautifully you show up. His faithfulness comes from his internal world, not from your external performance. You can be the most emotionally intelligent, feminine, nurturing, attractive woman he's ever met. And he can still cheat if he's driven by unresolved insecurity, ego, emotional immaturity, or a desperate need for validation he never learned to give himself. Women take men's cheating personally because they think men cheat for emotional reasons. But many men cheat for ego reasons, for avoidance reasons, for reasons tied to fear, identity, or emptiness. Some men cheat because they're terrified of intimacy. They crave closeness right up until it appears, then they run into another woman as an escape hatch. Some men cheat because they need proof they're desirable. They chase external attention like oxygen because they have no stable sense of self-worth. And some cheat simply because they never developed discipline. They confuse impulses with destiny, and they expect women to tolerate it. None of this excuses the behavior, but it exposes something you need to understand. A man doesn't cheat because you weren't enough. He cheats because he wasn't enough for the relationship he promised to show up for. You can't fix that. You can't prevent that. You can't love that out of someone. If a man has a hole inside him, he will fill it with whatever is easiest. And too often, that whatever is another woman. Here's the uncomfortable psychological truth. For many men, cheating is not about desire. It's about identity. A man cheats when who he wants to be conflicts with who he actually is. And instead of confronting that gap, he escapes into someone else's arms. Cheating gives him a temporary sense of control, a temporary sense of power, a temporary sense of being wanted without having to do the internal work of growing up. For some men, cheating becomes a way to avoid the parts of themselves they're ashamed of. They don't cheat because they don't care about you. They cheat because they don't know how to face themselves. Some cheat because they're addicted to novelty, the first time rush, the chase, the adrenaline of seduction. It makes them feel alive for a moment, but then it fades, and they're left emptier than before. Some cheat because they're conflict avoidant. Instead of ending a relationship honestly, they sabotage it. They destroy it with betrayal instead of taking responsibility. And some cheat because their emotional development stopped at the age they first learned that attention equals worth. This part is important. Many women assume cheating is proof a man never cared. But often he did care. He just cared in a childish way, without discipline, without self-awareness, without emotional accountability. This is why so many cheating men cry when they lose you. It's not because they suddenly realized your value. It's because they realized they weren't man enough to honor it. Let's address the psychological pattern on your side. Because every woman who has ever been cheated on has asked the same question. What does she have that I don't? But here's the truth. She usually has nothing you lack. She's just the easiest option for him to escape into. Women blame themselves because they think loyalty is a reflection of their worth. But it's not. Loyalty is a reflection of his character, his discipline, his values, his emotional maturity, none of which you are responsible for creating inside him. You may have given him your softness, your patience, your energy, your understanding, your consistency, and he still chose betrayal, not because you were lacking, but because he was lacking the ability to be a man of integrity. Women also blame themselves because they confuse relationship failure with personal failure. But these are not the same things. Your value as a woman doesn't decrease because a man acted out of weakness or instability. Let me say something directly. You could be his safest place, his deepest love, his future, and he could still choose chaos. Because some men choose what feels familiar, not what is good for them. And if he grew up equating emotional intensity with dysfunction, he will subconsciously chase dysfunction, even when you offer him something healthier. Never internalize a man's inability to love properly. His choices are not your burden to carry. Now let's reveal the real core, the root, the secret reason men cheat that most relationship coaches never talk about. Men cheat because they fear being ordinary. They fear being replaceable. They fear being invisible. They fear being exposed as not enough. Cheating becomes the shortcut, the proof to themselves that they're desirable, powerful, wanted, attractive, impressive. It's fragile validation, dressed up as masculinity. Cheating strokes their ego in a way their self-esteem cannot. It covers their insecurity with temporary affirmation. It makes them feel like the man they secretly believe they are not. This is why men who cheat often act proud on the outside, but crumble on the inside when they're caught. Because the cheating wasn't about the other woman, it was about their need to feel significant. A faithful man is grounded in himself. He doesn't need multiple women to feel masculine. He doesn't need 2 lives to feel alive. He doesn't need to betray the person he loves to feel worthy. A cheating man is disconnected from himself, and he uses women as mirrors, trying to see his value in their eyes, instead of building that value internally. This is the secret reason men cheat. Not because of you, not because of the other woman, but because of the war inside themselves. A war they refuse to face. If you've ever been cheated on, or you fear it, or you keep attracting men who repeat this same pattern, here's what you need to understand. You can't prevent a man from cheating, but you can prevent yourself from tolerating the signs. You break the cycle by developing standards that are not negotiable, by trusting your intuition when something feels off, by walking away at the first sign of secrecy, inconsistency, or emotional distance. You break the cycle by choosing men who are emotionally grown, men who communicate instead of escape, men who self-regulate instead of self-destruct, men who desire commitment more than validation. You break the cycle by becoming the woman who never argues with evidence. If he hides his phone, if he suddenly becomes busy, if he accuses you of being insecure, if he avoids accountability, if his story never matches his behavior, you don't negotiate with that. You don't wait for proof. You don't wait to be hurt. You choose yourself. And most importantly, you break the cycle by realizing this truth. A man who is truly aligned with you will protect the connection. He will guard it. He will value it. He will not sabotage the very thing he knows is rare. Your role is not to teach a man loyalty. Your role is to choose a man who already learned it. If this spoke to you, sit with it. Let it land. Let it sharpen your awareness and strengthen your standards. You deserve a love that is consistent, grounded, safe, and emotionally mature. You deserve a man whose loyalty is not a battle, but a basic foundation. You deserve a relationship where you don't have to compete with chaos. If you want more videos like this, more truth, more clarity, more emotional guidance, then make sure you like this video and subscribe to The Feminine Standard. Because we're not here to repeat patterns. We're here to break them and rise into women who no longer tolerate the bare minimum disguised as love.